Good afternoon. We are going to go ahead and call to order the May 6, 2022, 1 p.m. Canvassing Board certification meeting for the April 26, 2022 special election. I am Canvassing Board Member Julie Wise, your King County Director of Elections. And with me on the call today, we have Canvassing Board Member Susie Slonaker, the Chief Deputy in the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and Janine Wythe, Director of Operations to the King County Council. We are staffed today by Geraldine Hampton, our King County Elections Ballot Processing Manager. This meeting is being recorded and live streamed via the King County Elections Facebook page and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel after this meeting. Now we will hear from Geraldine Hampton with an overview of the special election.
Thank you, Julie. Good afternoon, Canvassing Board members. Before I give a summary of our April election, I do have mail ballot challenges I'd like to present to you for rejection. It's item E-4000. There's 527 mail ballot challenges that we were unable to count due to reasons such as a signature was missing from the ballot declaration, signatures not matching, and of course, ballots never returned past the deadline again, so we were unable to count them.
I move that we reject the mail ballots that Ms. Hampton referenced.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, thank you for that. Moving on to a summary of our election. Going into the special election, we projected we'd hit 31%, and we actually just barely eked past the 31%. We ended up at 32% turnout, which totaled a little more than 23,600 ballots being returned. The total pool of eligible voters for this election was just under 74,000 voters. Again, it was Issaquah School District who had 3 propositions on the ballot. As far as vote center activities are concerned, we only had our main King County Elections headquarters open for our vote center, where people could come in person to change their address, request a ballot to vote with, or make any other updates. At our vote center, we were able to register 18 new voters, and we completed 2 updates, and we did not issue any transfers for people to move somewhere else in the state. But we did, however, issue 5 ballots for people who wanted to get a ballot and cast their vote right there. As far as drop boxes are concerned, we had 11 boxes open for this election. We traditionally open boxes within a 3-mile radius from where the jurisdiction is. We received just under half of those ballots received from drop boxes on election day. And the most utilized box for this election was Issaquah City Hall. There was over 3,200 ballots in returns. Sammamish City Hall actually came in second place. They had over 2,300 ballots. And I believe the total drop box returns was around 7,300 ballots. The mail ballot challenges that we were just speaking about, again, we had 527 remaining at the end of the election we were not able to process. Of that number, there was over half, it was 54% that were returned too late. And that's the reason we were unable to count them. We did have 244 signature challenges remaining. Again, so those would be ballots with no signature on the declaration or signatures that did not match. It equaled to about 1% of total ballot returns. That's a little higher than we would normally see in a primary or general. And that's represented. We only had 47% of voters actually return their challenge letters. And traditionally in larger like primary or general elections, we see more like 55 to 60% of challenge letters being returned. So that a little information about our challenges there. As far as provisional ballots are concerned, we received 0 of them. That's why you had to reject 0 of them. So no provisionals returned or processed for this April election. Because this was a smaller election, smaller spring election, we actually did not need to hire any additional help to get through this election. So none of our various teams and elections hired temporary staff. So that includes our driver teams, the vote center staff, signature verifiers, and so on. All of those groups were staffed by our full-time employees. We did have observer activity. I did train 9 party observers before we started processing any ballots. And we did have 20 visits throughout the election period. One thing that I wanted to add to the conversation around the summary of our certification is a bit about post-election audits. So for every election, we conduct a post-election audit that's called the random batch audit. So this is a process where randomly selected batches, 6 of them, which would amount to about 1,500 ballots, are selected, and we do a hand count of those randomly selected ballots within the batches. We also select randomly, again, the contest that we're going to audit. We do a comparison, right? We compare the hand counted numbers for a contest, and we compare that with the tabulated results that came from our system. We do this Thursday of election week for every election, and this is really to ensure that the votes are being counted accurately and the system is acting as it should be. Happy to report we had 0 discrepancies for our batch audit that we conducted Thursday of election week. Something new that we did for this April election was we added an additional post-election audit to the mix. We did a pilot risk limiting audit. So this was conducted in addition to that batch audit that we just described. A risk limiting audit is another type of post-election audit that takes a random sample of individual voted ballots, not the batches that we were just talking about, but individual voted ballots. And we compare each vote on that marked ballot against the tabulated result from the tabulation system for that contest, and to ensure that they're the same. This type of post-election audit is intended to provide like a statistical confidence that the winner is really the winner. For this audit, we reviewed 208 ballots. And again, such as with the batch audit, we did pass with 0 discrepancies. So that is great. We actually partnered for this pilot risk limiting audit. We partnered closely with the Secretary of State's office, who helped sort of guide us through the process. And we had 2 members of the Secretary of State's team on site with us as we went through the audit process. So Miriam Campbell and Hannah Taylor were both here with us and my team as we went through the risk limiting audit. So 2 post-election audits, both with 0 discrepancies. And then finally, most excitingly for me, we are reconciled and have 0 discrepancies overall throughout all of the different portions of the election. And this actually amounts to the 25th election in a row with no discrepancies for me to report to the board. So very exciting. And turning an eye to the future, our next election will be the August primary that's coming up. That'll be on August 2nd is the actual date of the primary. And our first canvassing board meeting will be on Thursday, August 11th, scheduled at 1:30 p.m. So that is my summary of April events.
Thank you so much, Geraldine, for the recap of the April special election. Kudos to you and the team for the 26th consecutive reconciliation with 0 discrepancy elections, and for adding another audit to provide more trust in the elections system. I really appreciate you all going above and beyond what the law calls for to make sure that our elections are accurate. So thank you so much to you and the team. We will get to signing those important documents. So we will start with the oath of authenticity. Susie, do you want to read that?
Julie.
Yeah.
Julie, I will now read to you the oath of authenticity, and it reads as follows. King County Director of Elections, Julie Wise, do you solemnly swear that the unofficial returns and supporting documentation of the special election held on April 26, 2022 in King County, State of Washington are true and correct?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is the certification of the canvassing board, and it reads, the undersigned officers designated by law as constituting the canvassing board for the County of King, State of Washington, hereby certify that this is a full, true, and correct copy of the abstract of votes, including the number of registered eligible voters, cumulative results, precinct results, and report of votes cast at the special election held on April 26, 2022 in King County, state of Washington. I do.
I do.
All right, I think we got ideas from all of us. The next item on the agenda is adoption of the updated canvassing board rules. Geraldine, will you please provide us with a brief overview of the changes, and then we will make a motion to adopt?
Certainly, Julie. So some of the changes were real minor. Let's see, 1 second here. Apologies for that, my light's going off in my office. So some minor changes, we updated language in the administrative rules, updated the references for he and she to his, to they and their. We changed some language where items were called out as duplication to refer to that as adjudication. So real minor jargony change there. More important and substantial change is where we were actually adding a description of the batch audit process that I referred to earlier, as well as the risk limiting audit. So there's just description in the administrative rules on what those look like. Those were the changes really for the updated administrative rules.
Thank you, Ms. Hampton. I move that we adopt the updated canvassing board rules.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you to our canvassing board members for your service here at King County Elections. And of course, Geraldine Hampton and the entire team at King County Elections appreciate all your hard work in another fabulous election, no matter the size. You all work diligently to make sure that we run in great elections here at King County. It's much appreciated. Thanks all. Is there any further business?
I have nothing more for the board today.
Great. The May 6, 2022 certification meeting is adjourned at 1:13 p.m. Again, congratulations to the staff for completing another successful election. We will see you for the primary election.